Welcome to the final day of Seek Week. My name is Josh and I'm the campus pastor at Brave San Ramon. And I'm proud of you for making it through to the final day of Seek Week. If you fasted something the whole week, 3 days, 1 day, look, even if you took one moment of seeking God more intentionally this week, way to go. I know that God sees and honors that. Today, we're going to conclude our Seek Week Devotionals by sharing about hearing God's voice. Some religious leaders were asking Jesus, and they were pressuring him to answer if he was the Messiah. And here's what Jesus said in John 10, verse 25. Jesus said, "I have already told you and you don't believe me. The proof is in the work I do in my Father's name. But you don't believe me because you are not my sheep. My sheep listen to my voice. I know them and they follow me." So Jesus is saying a couple things here that I want us to understand. First, hearing God's voice begins with believing in Jesus, right? Jesus said, "My sheep know my voice," which means not everyone gets to know his voice. This is a wonderful blessing to deciding to follow Jesus and believing that the work he did on the cross was for you and for me. The blessing is that we get to hear and know God's voice. So maybe you're listening to this though, and you are following Jesus, but you want to hear God's voice more clearly. Listen, that's a good desire to have. Who doesn't want to hear God speak more clearly? The Greek word for voice here is similar to the word for sound. Every parent knows this, that you can be in a crowd of people and there can be a bunch of kids playing in the same area, screaming, laughing, and then inevitably a kid starts crying. But parents know the difference between when it's their kid crying or another kid. How? Because they know the sound, the timbre of their kid's voice. All those sleepless nights of crying babies paid off for something. So I want to ask you, what do you think is the timbre that God's voice sounds like? When I look at scripture, which by the way is how we get to know what his voice sounds like, here's what I see. God's voice sounds like love, light. It's full of hope, pure wisdom, powerful and yet gentle, convicting to my soul but not condemning, firm, consistent, steady, pure, clean. His voice is full of love and compassion, grace and mercy, truth. His voice sounds like unity, like reconciliation, forgiveness, free from lies, free from accusation. Who wouldn't want to listen to a voice like that? If you want to hear God's voice, first, believe in who he is. Second, learn what God's voice sounds like. And then third, follow him with obedience. Jesus said, "My sheep follow me." So when we hear God's voice, if we hear something that sounds like God, choose to follow him. Tonight, we're gathering at our East Bay Seek Night at the San Ramon campus. And this is a time to hear God's voice through prayer, through worship, and through a powerful message from Pastor Norman. And I'm excited because I've been praying for you that all those that come tonight, that God would speak to you and that some of you would hear God's voice for the first time. And that those of you who don't yet know Jesus would decide to follow him so you too can experience the blessing of hearing the beautiful and loving voice of God. God bless you as you seek him today.